We're going live right when I said, okay, maybe a minute after I said. Let me check audio, which means I have to wait for my phone to let me catch up, or I guess the stream to catch up, get you all in here. Stream to catch up, get you all in here. We're going live. Okay, we're good to go. Can I copyright myself? Maybe make a little extra money that way. Full disclosure, wearing a hat because my hair is a mess. I need a haircut, and I was going to go out tonight and wear a hat, but no. Anyway, welcome to Alabama Postgame at the voice of college football, Mark Rogers TV. Alabama wins 30-6. Really, really had to score that touchdown in the last play of the game. Like, come on. That was, we can't get shut out. Like, come on, guys. Really, Mike Leach, you goofy goof. What a response for the Alabama defense. Wins 30-6. We'll keep that just ticker going around the bottom. I didn't do the stats again. I wanted to get on as quickly as I could. Real quick, obviously, subscribe, like the video, subscribe to all our channels. They all do great work. Join our Discord, talk college football all the time at Patreon. We'll sign up for the Patreon and we'll put you in our Discord. Search Mark Rogers TV. Donate to the channels. We have a fun time. We're going to have a good talk here tonight about the Alabama response. I'm taking off that ticker. It looks a little annoying. You all know it's 30-6. Like the video and subscribe, because why would you not? And then join our call-in show, 10:30 Eastern. So I'll be hopping off, and you guys can hop over there at Mark Rogers TV. And let me, in case you're just you can call in the show at this number. And join us for our post-game show Saturday. There it is. Trouble finding my banner for it. Join it. It's going to be a fun time. Mark, so when I hop on over there and have a good time. Talk with Mark. He break down all the games from today. What a weird day of college football. Not necessarily as fun as last week, because last week was just amazing. But a good week nonetheless. But let's talk about this game. Obviously, the story of the game is the Alabama defense. Again, rolltide.com. Are you guys going to give me live stats? Or is it going to buffer? I guess not buffer, but the defense after last week's game, the defense was. Ooh, we got live stats. Let's go. The defense was phenomenal. Let's look at some of your comments. Roll dang tide, absolutely. Eli Ricks played lights out. He had a very good game, which, considering he didn't really play last week, I don't know. Not here to talk about last week. We talked a lot about last week. Tyler finally made a catch. Look at him showing up. Welcome to the season, man. All in all, defensively, I don't know what more you could ask for from the Alabama team. Pulling up some stats right now. I want to look at team stats, please. Total yards. I mean, Alabama got outgained, but they only gave up 293 yards. And some of these, and after last week, just getting absolutely torched. Absolutely torched. In the pass game and the run game, Will Rogers, 30 for 60 for 231 yards, 3.9 yards per attempt. Beautiful. DeMarco Helm. Yeah, no, the entire secondary was excellent tonight, as was the linebackers, because when you play Mississippi State, everybody's got to play coverage. And Mississippi State this year has done a better job running the football, and 2.4 yards per attempt. Now, to be fair, Will Rogers was negative 5.4. So really, they had 21 carries for 89 yards, which is more than 4 yards per carry. But when you're holding the pass game to under 4 yards an attempt, you'll take it. Yeah, just a great game by the Alabama defense tonight. 3.37 yards per play. And Bama wasn't great. Offensively, we can talk about it. They weren't very good or sharp offensively tonight. Like I said, Mississippi State outgained them. Bryce Young, kind of a pedestrian night, 21 for 35, 249, 2 touchdowns. But he did the important thing, which was once it was clear Alabama could kind of roll. He didn't turn the ball over, which he doesn't do because he's Bryce Young, except for that one weird game against whoever. They didn't run the ball particularly well tonight out of the 3 running backs. Gibbs, 10 carries for 37 yards. McClellan, 6 carries for 9 yards. Wardell Williams, 6 carries for 7 yards. Do that math. That's 53 yards on 22 carries. So we're just above 2 yards a carry. That's got to improve. All in all, it's weird because on one side of the ball, it looked like a team ready to come out and with their hair on fire after last week. On the other side of the ball, on offense, it was just kind of, yeah, they're fine. Like they didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot. It's like you watch an NFL team and they're playing like the Bears. They didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot offensively, but still, like you'd like to see more. And to give credit, Zach Arnett and Mississippi State have an outstanding defense. Someone hire him, please. He's very good at his job in Starkville. So good for them. We'll see where life takes him next. But for tonight, he did a good job against Alabama. But Alabama gets the win 30-6. Ja'Cory Brooks had 3 catches, 74 yards. Jermaine Burton, 2 catches for 40 yards. Somebody already mentioned in our comments, Tyler Harrell finally had a catch. Cameron Latu, after a big game last week, only 1 catch tonight. Isaiah Bond, 1 catch. Trayshawn Holden. So all around, Bryce got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people got a reception tonight on 35 passes and 21 completions. So 7.1 yards per completion. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Not a lot to complain about tonight. On defense. They did what they're supposed to do. I think Bill's okay. Going from Dayball, who I didn't think was all that great, but clearly is. I mean, he's doing a wonderful job for the Giants. They're doing a wonderful job with the Bills. Sark, you had Kiffin. Bill O'Brien isn't those guys, but I think he's done a fine job. I think tonight was just kind of watching the game. Tonight just kind of felt especially after last week. Tonight just kind of felt like they felt flat. Which after the game in Knoxville last week is kind of understandable. The thing Bill O'Brien struggles with is you look at all these guys that are great offensive minds, whether it be in the NFL, McVay, Shanahan, whatever. I'm talking a lot of NFL. I hate doing that. Or college, like Lincoln Riley. What they do is they scheme an awesome run game where it doesn't matter who the running back is. It doesn't matter what the defense is doing. They're able to navigate and get yards where you're like, how did you look at the end of the game? You look at the end of the game and you go, where did USC rush for 150 yards on 32 attempts? Like, how did that happen? Bill O'Brien isn't that good at scheming a run game. He just isn't. I think he's fine. Like, I don't think he's good. I don't think he's horrible. But he isn't. His skill isn't scheming up a run game, which can be a bit of an issue. The run game is just Jahmyr Gibbs make a play. And part of that is the offensive line isn't very good. Excuse me. It's been a long day. When Alabama was beating teams, and I was listening to a thing this week, and what's the issue with Alabama? Why can't they dominate teams on the road? They don't have the offensive line they used to, especially in like 2020, which isn't that long ago. The offensive line is merely good. It's not dominant, and so it's harder to make a run game. That doesn't matter sometimes. You have to be able to scheme it. And Bill O'Brien scheming a run game just hasn't been there. Last year it wasn't there, obviously. I mean, we talked about last year's run game a bit last week. Brian Robinson, out of all the Alabama running backs for the last decade or so, even longer, maybe going back to like Glenn Coffey, he's looked the worst. He looked the worst in college, but he's starting NFL games. So clearly he's very talented. I don't think he's very good at scheming a run game. We'll see how he does without Bryce Young, because that'll be when Ty takes over next year. But when you guys talk about Bill O'Brien and you're bringing up concerns, I'm there with you. I don't think he's horrible. I keep saying, oh my God. I don't think he's horrible, but I think he lacks creativity in the run game. And he keeps wanting to stretch the field. Yeah, run play calling is not great. That's what we just talked about. He does have a tendency to want to make. It's almost like he says, "Okay, I have Bryce Young." You don't always have Bryce Young. Ty Simpson might be a great QB, but you don't know how good he's going to be. And so when you have him, you want to use him. I've seen a lot of teams do that. It's like, oh, we have this toy. It's not going to last forever. Let's use it now. I don't think he's horrible. But there's part of his game where he does struggle. Because a lot of you guys are getting on Bill O'Brien tonight, which is fair. The offense did not play well tonight. Only 290 yards of offense. Bryson Gibbs is our offense. Well, the good news for the Bill O'Brien, anti-Bill O'Brien, and I wouldn't put myself in either camp. What you guys have to understand is I'm not an Alabama fan, which is why I think I do a decent job running this channel. I'm not a fan. I can look at it from a perspective that isn't biased towards any one side. I don't hate Alabama. Obviously, amazing respect for. If I hated Alabama, I wouldn't do this channel. Like, are you serious? Could you imagine how miserable that would be every week? Oh God, Alabama won again. But for those who are in the anti-Bill O'Brien camp, I think you'll get your wish. I think he's going to get a job next year, whether it be back in the NFL, whether it be in college. He's probably up for the Nebraska job. He'll probably be up for like Wisconsin if Wisconsin just doesn't keep Jim Leonhard. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I think Bill O'Brien's fine. I don't think he's good. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's horrible. But for those who do complain about him, I will agree to a point. Like, they have too many games like this where the offense just seems flat, very vanilla. And maybe tonight part of it was they knew Mississippi State wasn't scoring on them. So Alabama's probably going to win the national championship. Look, the word probably I wouldn't use. It's going to be difficult to get there. Like, LSU just keeps getting better. Like, that game, everyone's worried about the game in Oxford. I wouldn't be so concerned about the game. I just don't think Jackson Dart. He's not Hendon Hooker. He's not, one of these guys. They have a good run game, but Alabama can shut that down. I don't think it's going to be that trip to LSU, which is going to be dangerous. LSU's getting better. They looked horrible against Tennessee, but they beat up on Ole Miss today after falling behind. There's going to be some tough games. Auburn shouldn't be a tough game at home. But if Alabama can win the SEC championship, they're back in the playoff, and then it's kind of a crapshoot, Which should be fun. The playoff this year is actually going to be really fun outside of Clemson, because Clemson stinks. Whatever combination of Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, Michigan fill up those three spots, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then whoever gets Clemson gets a bye. Sorry, I don't mean to throw that much shade at Clemson, but man, did anyone watch that game today? If Syracuse knew they had an All-American running back, we would probably be talking about a Syracuse loss, wouldn't we? Anyway, back to this game. We can talk about the offense a lot, and I agree with you guys. The offense tonight just wasn't. It was very bland. I'm trying to bring up defensive stats. How many tackles for a loss were there? 1, 2, like 6 or 7. How did Will Anderson do tonight? He looked like he made more of an impact. I only had 1 tackle for a loss. Interesting. Because last week he was nowhere to be found. 4 sacks. Not that surprising. Mississippi State, a team that likes to get the ball out quick. Reason I have so much concerns because when you play really good teams, that could hurt Bama. Yeah, we saw it last week. We saw it with against Tennessee, but that was more on the defense. Like, if are we blaming the offense for the Tennessee game? Because they put up 42 points on the road. I wouldn't blame the offense for that one. But you saw the Georgia, and I can't really even put the Georgia game on them because they didn't have their 2 best receivers, and I don't care who you are, your quarterback missing your 2,000-yard receivers, you're gonna struggle. But that also comes back to they don't scheme a good run game. They don't. They just don't. They don't. Like, Bill O'Brien has struggled. It's an NFL run game, like an old NFL run game. If you know what I mean? Like, it's like a 2014 NFL style run game where it's just no motion. You're not pulling. You're just kind of powering ahead. No. It's just very bland. Make a play, Jahmyr Gibbs. Which, good heavens, can Jahmyr Gibbs make plays? And that's where he needs to get better. But for those of you who like Bill O'Brien's the worst ever, the good news, he's going to be at Nebraska, Wisconsin. A couple other jobs are going to open up. He's going to be there. So I think you have 5 games left. Okay, actually, you still have like half a season left because you still have the SEC championship game. You still have potentially a playoff or a bowl game. Inconsistent. Yeah, Tennessee game wasn't on the offense, which is why I worried about the offense against big teams or good teams. I think it'll be fine. It's more performances like these with the inconsistency. Teams that necessarily aren't great, like Texas, not a great team. Texas is getting better. Texas is getting better, but they're not there yet. And they're 5-3. They've lost to Texas Tech. They lost to Oklahoma State today. Just kind of, I can't really. And today the offense wasn't great. I think part of the thing with the offense today, and this isn't to make an excuse for Bill O'Brien, because I think we're getting into a camp that I'm just straight up defending Bill O'Brien, which I don't mean to. I think he's okay. I don't think he's good or bad. I think he's fine, which is like the most lukewarm take you can have in a world of Bill O'Brien's the worst thing ever. And no, that's not me. He just doesn't scheme a good run game. And that's an issue against these good teams. And against, last year he took like LSU. And the offensive line isn't amazing like it has been in the past. And that's going to cause issues because you're not going to be able to road grade your way to a win or, if you're – here's the biggest difference. In like 2020 because they just blew everybody out. But like you take Alabama over the last decade, for the most part, they go on the road. They face a halfway decent team. They score a couple times. They go up, but the opposing team cuts it to 20-14. And their crowd's getting into it. The games. the game's getting intense. And what Alabama used to be able to do was what I like to call the Alabama drive. 6-yard carry, 5-yard carry, 4-yard carry, 3-yard carry, 6-yard pass, 5-yard carry, 7-yard carry, 13-yard carry, all the way down the field, touchdown. No tackles for a loss, no penalties. Quarterback just completes an easy couple of passes. That was the Alabama drive, and they haven't been able to do that in a long time. Now the Alabama drive is 6-yard completion, 6-yard completion, 15-yard completion, 10-yard completion. And that's the difference, and why I think on the road they've had issues. Let me switch to the show name instead of my name. You're listening to Alabama Post. God, I've done that twice now. Postgame at the Voice of College Football. I'm Zach Ramilius. Like the video, subscribe as Alabama beats Mississippi State 30-6. Join our Patreon, join our Discord, talk college football all the time. Sign up for our Patreon. We put you in our Discord. It's just a bunch of nerds, geeks, whatever you want to call us, talking college football. It's super fun. And also, when I hop off here, join our live show. 10:30. Our live show goes live, or 10:30 Central. Our live show at the Voice of College Football goes live. Listen to Mark, call him, give him your thoughts on today's games, good or bad. It doesn't matter. He watches all of this, like I'm sure we all do. Looking at a couple stats here. Interesting. Just interesting how just kind of mediocre Will Rogers was, because he was getting a lot of hype there for a while, wasn't he? Ooh. Will Rogers. Okay. True. He's not perfect. He's not the worst. No, he's not the worst. But yeah, he's far from perfect. If you can't scheme a run game in 2022, you don't have to have the best backs. I mean, Travis Dye's fine, but like USC doesn't have amazing running backs. They scheme a good run game, and part of that's Caleb Williams. It's what you do with your personnel, how you maneuver things, your motion. Can you get the defense? Can you key in what the defense is going to do? Can your running back hit holes? Can your running back identify holes if you're doing like a zone system? Which way's the Blues logo? It's this way. Full disclosure, I'm wearing a hat because my hair is a disaster. I need a haircut so badly. It's just not gonna happen right now. Oh, excuse me. Goodness gracious. Join our call-in show, Mark Rogers TV. When I hop off here, don't leave yet. Wait till I get off in like 25 minutes. Then go over there and listen to Mark talk, give his knowledge, and I'm probably not going to do anything because I'm tired. Any other thoughts you guys have on today's game? Stop putting so much dead air. I'm just kind of reading stats here. Jaquavius Marks for, Mississippi State's run the ball better this year than they have in past years. So if you want to nitpick a game where you gave up 6 points on the very last play of the game, Mississippi State with his running backs did an okay job running the ball. Nothing special. And it didn't do what happened against Tennessee last week, where that run game opened up the pass game. Because like I said, 21 carries for 89 yards. That's over 4 yards a carry, just ever so slightly. But it's still over 4 yards a carry. That's pretty decent against this defense. But other than that, I mean, Thomas from Mississippi State catches 73 yards. Austin Williams, 3 catches, 46 yards. All in all, 30 catches, 231 yards. So 7.5 yards of completion. But we're all smart people here, and we know yards per attempt is more important because I don't care if you throw 10 completions, if you throw like 10 for 30 but you threw for 340 yards, your offense was probably okay. Only 3.9 yards per completion. That's not going to get it done against anybody in the SEC. Well, maybe Vanderbilt and Missouri. Probably those two teams. Other than that, not going to get it done. Not going to get it done. Leave your guys' thoughts and comments about this game. Alabama wins 30-6. Alabama post game. I keep saying post game. I don't know. At the voice of college football, I'm Zach Ramilius. Heck, if you want to mispronounce my name, I keep mispronouncing post game. Like the video, subscribe. Obviously, come on, guys. Subscribe to all our channels. There's a lot of people putting in a lot of good work. I saw the Florida fan in here. He had to call his kids. Yes. Subscribe to our Florida channel. Come on, man. If you're not already, which you very well might be. I thought I had my cat next to me. There she is. What are we doing here? Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe, like the video. Tell your friends. If you're an Alabama fan, hey, there's this nerd who does post-game shows. He just talks off the cuff, has some stats in front of him, and he fills up an hour of your night with some really entertaining and funny talk. And it's only funnier and more entertaining if people are in the chat talking to me, making fun of me, or giving really good opinionated ideas about Alabama football or the game they just played. If there's a Mississippi State fan listening, what did you think of today's game? Just a weird game for Mississippi State. Mississippi State's a weird team to me, and I'm on the SEC channel, so this doesn't have to be all Alabama because we're pretty even on who's viewing what channel. I can tell which channels you're on. Some weeks they look like maybe not a New Year's Bowl team, but not a New Year's like 6, but like a New Year's team, like a Citrus Bowl. Like they look like one of those teams. Like, oh my goodness, they're really good. They're really explosive. Their defense is fantastic, which it still is. And then some weeks it's like, oh, well, they'll play well in Birmingham. This is a 7-5 team. I mean, I was talking to a Mississippi State fan I'm a friend with, and they were just talking, like, on the road and at home, this team's just so different. But fortunately for them, they have a home game against Georgia. November 12th. That could be an interesting game because this team does look way different at home on offense. I don't know what it is. I don't know if a crowd noise affects them that much, but we will see when they play host to Georgia. But Mississippi State, I think they're a good team. I think they're a top 25-ish team. Again, some weeks they look like they could be competing for like a top 3 spot in the West. And other weeks they just kind of look like another football team. Let's go quickly through the SEC today. If you guys don't want to talk about the Alabama game anymore. South Carolina knocks off. South Carolina's 5-2. Did anybody else realize that? Like, I certainly didn't. They knock off Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher, I'm sure, with another incredibly called offensive game. Tennessee murders UT Martin. Skyhawks are good Fs. Skyhawks, yeah, whatever. Bama, of course, wins. LSU pounds Ole Miss into the dust after a 17-3 lead by Ole Miss. And then Mizzou escapes, I guess would be the word, Vanderbilt, which is pathetic. Go back to that. So anything else? Anybody? What did we think of today's game? Mississippi State side, Alabama side, neutral side. What did we think of today's game? Talk to me. Walk with me. I thought the game was kind of vanilla. My final thoughts, I guess, and I'm not getting off. I'm just kind of breaking down, I think, what we've talked about through the first half hour or so. I think the game was vanilla. I don't think there's too much to take away from this one. I think they were, offensively at least, they're very bland. No energy, which is not the most surprising. I I wouldn't have picked Mississippi State to win this game. But I'm not stunned that Alabama came out super flat after playing in maybe probably will end up being the game of the year. Not shocked they came out offensively super flat. I thought Mississippi State could hang around for a long time in this game because both sides of the ball would come out flat. The defense did not. The defense was awesome today, especially in the back seven. Full credit to them for today's game, shutting down the air raid. I mean, 3 and out. I mean, the real chance Mississippi State had to make this a game was their second drive. Their second drive, they marched down the field. They have 4th and 3 at the Alabama 15. It's still 0-0. Still zeros. 4th and 3. Can't complete a pass. Alabama's ball. Alabama scores a touchdown. Back out comes the Mississippi State offense. They march all the way down to the Bama 26. Kick a field goal. Can't do that. I don't understand. I mean, they had 3rd and 1. Or excuse me, they completed the 4th and 1. They had 2nd and 10. Then 3rd and 12. I don't understand. I guess I understand why they didn't go for it on 4th and 12. But I don't understand these teams thinking you're going to beat Alabama or you're going to beat Georgia or you're going to beat Clemson or name any or Ohio State. Michigan, whoever. You're not going to beat them with field goals. Eli Ricks is a lockdown corner. Why wasn't he covering Hyatt last week? That's a great question that I don't have an answer to. I don't have an answer to it. I think part of it, how do I put it? I think part of it was Tennessee did enough motioning and getting Hyatt all over the field where he was getting one-on-ones with safeties. And Ricks, I'm not going to pretend I know more than I do. Ricks might not be the best at covering guys out of the slot, or his footwork on one side of the field might be worse than other. I don't really know because, I don't know where he was last week. But he was great tonight. The entire back seven was great tonight. But Eli Ricks was fantastic. I wish I knew more about why he didn't get a look next week against Hyatt. I don't know if it has to do with what Tennessee's offense was doing. Or if it was simply they didn't trust him. I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I might have just missed something. If I did, feel free to correct me. If I got something wrong, I don't know. But I know he just didn't get really a shot at all last week, which was weird. As the Phillies lead the NLCS 3-1, so. Yeah, no, he was dominant tonight. The entire back seven again was great, but Eli Ricks particularly, I thought had a really strong game. I mean, Kool-Aid had 4 pass breakups. Ricks had 4 pass breakups. Helms 2, Branch 2, Battle. They all played great. But Eli Ricks was fantastic tonight. I don't know where he was last week. I wish I could give you a better answer. Just don't. I don't have one. Wish I did, because that would sure be nice for everybody involved. Well, that's over. While we're wrapping this up, let me put on Kansas State, because those Wildcats and those Horned Frogs, the Hypnotoads, did anyone think Sonny Dykes in year 1 was going to do what he's doing at TCU? Holy cow. I'm just kind of babbling here. I don't think anybody, you realize how tired I am. And some of you are probably even more tired because you do things on Saturdays besides watch college football and look at your laptop and talk to wonderful human beings that would like to spend their Saturday night with me. You guys are awesome. What you doing, Kat? You want to say hi? No? Okay. Okay, Aria, go away. You're listening to Alabama Live postgame. The Voice of College Football. We're live every week, except next week, obviously, because Alabama's on a bye week. But after that, we get back to going. And if you look at the rest of Alabama's schedule, bye week, head to LSU, another road game, another road test. The next 2 games are on the road, and it's going to be tough environments against pretty good teams. Can they pull away? Can they get dominant wins? Can they play how they should in those games? LSU's getting better, but they should not, especially with Jaden Daniels. It's the KU quarterback. With Jaden Daniels, they should not be competing with Alabama. Like, shut down the run game, end it. LSU or Ole Miss's defense today couldn't. Then they head to Ole Miss. Again, it's going to be about shutting down the run game. I don't think Jackson Dart is going to be able to do what Hendon Hooker did. So that's going to be the tough test. Then you got Austin Peay, kind of your bye week, another bye week, and then you play Auburn. And then if you're managed to take care of business, you got the SEC championship against either Tennessee or Georgia. We'll find out. November 12th, I think, is the day of that game. As Will Howard throws a pick for Kansas State, because apparently Adrian Martinez got hurt, and none of you told me. I haven't been watching. I was watching baseball because, that game was on TV 2, and I turn off TV 2 because I can kind of keep an eye on what's going on in front of me while I'm talking to you guys and keep a thought. I can't keep track of 3 different things. I'm not that good while trying to talk. During the day, obviously, game on the laptop, game on TV 2, game on TV 1. I'm not stupid. But yeah, we're going to end it here in about a few minutes to kind of so you guys can go over to Mark's show over at the Voice of College Football. Mark Rogers, call in. His call-in show, he's going to talk about all of this and more. Join our Patreon, join our Discord. Talk college football all the time. All the time. Just be respectful. You can have friendly trash talk. That's fine. I'm all for it. I actually think there should be more trash talk. I hate the taunting penalty. Just don't go too personal, and it's fine. Like the video, subscribe to all our channels. Why would you not? Why would you not? And Alabama wins 30-6. All right, I'm going to hop off in about 5 minutes, so leave any of your lasting thoughts or comments or anything you've had, any ideas you had about this here football game tonight in Tuscaloosa from Alabama and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. As my kind of final thoughts were, I thought the defense played really, really well. You hold Mississippi State to 6 points, and the 6 points come on quite literally the final play of the game. They almost didn't get the snap off to get the score. So, good job, defense. Offense, vanilla tonight. Run game wasn't there, but we talked about it for maybe 10 minutes. Bill O'Brien just hasn't done a good job scheming a run game since he's gotten to Alabama. Bryce Young was kind of, I won't call him pedestrian because pedestrian kind of sounds bad. He was good. He wasn't great. He didn't have to be great. It appeared about halfway through the second quarter, they're like, okay, we're going to kill this team. Let's just kind of do what we do. Nothing fancy. Don't force anything. Feel an inkling of pressure. Get it out of bounds. Mississippi State's not scoring on us. And they're right. Until the last play of the game. What up, Kat? You just want to hang out there? You want to come say hi? Okay, you can do that. See, last week she jumped up on me. And she wanted to say hi to everybody. And I think maybe Vanderbilt? No, not last week because I was in a different room for Tennessee. Maybe Vanderbilt and Texas A&M, she jumped up on me. Didn't you? You goofy girl. But any remaining thoughts? Anything? I mean, there are there are stupid comments. Like, I think Mississippi State was the better team tonight. Like, that's a goofy comment. But anybody got anything to wrap up tonight's little post gamer? Alabama wins 36-0 or 30-6. This is how tired I am. I'm sorry. Keeping bringing this up. My eyes hurt. I'm staring at screens all day. Anything else to wrap this up? 30-6, Alabama wins over Mississippi State. The Bryce Young Heisman tour continues. Bye week for the Crimson Tide next week. And then they head to Baton Rouge to take on LSU. It should be a fun game. It should be a great atmosphere. It always is. As TCU is going to win over Kansas State, and they're going to go to 7-0. So good for them. Subscribe and like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to all our channels. One last time, join our Discord. Talk college football all the time. Sign up at Patreon. Search Mark Rogers TV. Join the call-in show over at the Voice of College Football, Mark Rogers. He'll get going here in about 5 minutes-ish, maybe a little less. Any last thoughts from you guys about tonight's game between the Bulldogs and the Crimson Tide? I'll leave the line open for comments for a couple more minutes. You guys go ahead. Dead space, incredible airtime. It's been a lot of dead space on the show. Defense did a great job on Will Rogers tonight. Yep. 8 yards per attempt. Hilariously bad. 3.9 yards per attempt. Hilariously bad, especially for Will Rogers, who everyone told me was like one of the top 5 SEC quarterbacks. And he still very well might be, but I'm trying to think like Bryce Young, you got to put ahead of him. Hendon Hooker, you got to put ahead of him. Will Levis, I guess. They're storming the field in Fort Worth. Wait, why? Or was that just a few idiots? Okay. Anyway, leave your last thoughts. Where do you think Alabama's season's going? Were you happy with tonight's result? Leaving the line open to you guys before Mark literally leaves the line open for you to call in a couple minutes. Okay, that's fine. I'm Zach Ramilius. Crimson Tide knock off Mississippi State 30-6. You were listening to Alabama Postgame Live at the Voice of College Football. Like the video, subscribe, join our Patreon, join our Discord. Go over, tune in to the Voice of College Football postgame show or late night show, after dark show, whatever you want to call it. I think it's called After Dark. I should know this. Sorry, Mark. Join in, tune in, call in, give your thoughts on all of today's actions. Thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. This is a lot more fun and a lot easier when people are chatting in the comments. It's not just me trying to say the same things over and over again and fill like 2 minutes of time and then say something else and then fill 2 more minutes of time. So thank you all for being here. You all have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday. And I will see you all back here in 2 weeks when Alabama heads to Baton Rouge. Have a good night. And thanks for tuning in, guys.